is begging for closure as they try to bring home a missing Amherst County woman. Elsie Wiggington has been missing for about a year, but there are still no answers.
If someone texted you saying, "He's going to kill me," then what would you do? Would you believe them? Would you act fast enough? That was the haunting message Elsie Wiggington sent to her foster sister just moments before she vanished without a trace. Elsie was 45 years old, a mother, a grandmother, and a respected nurse in Amherst, Virginia. She spent nearly 3 decades caring for others, but in June of 2023, she needed someone to care for her, someone to listen, because she knew she was in danger. Her marriage was over. She had already filed for divorce back in 2020 after discovering that her husband, Frederick Wiggington Jr, was having an affair with his ex-wife, Patricia. The betrayal ran deep, but Elsie was trying to move on until things took a dark turn. In late June, Elsie planned to leave town and stay with her foster sister in Maryland. But before she could escape, she sent that now infamous message: "He's gonna kill me." And then she was gone. Frederick never reported her missing. In fact, he didn't seem concerned at all. Her family, terrified, reported her disappearance on June 26th, but there were no leads, no evidence, just silence.
A family is begging for closure as they try to bring home a missing Amherst County woman. Elsie Wiggington has been missing for about a year, but there are still no answers.
Nearly 14 months passed with no answers, but police weren't ready to give up. Then in August of 2024, investigators returned to the Wiggington property with cadaver dogs and ground-penetrating equipment. That's when they found it, a freshly poured concrete slab, and beneath that slab, buried right on the property, were the remains of Elsie Wiggington. It was exactly what her family had feared since that final text message. Frederick was arrested and charged with her murder, but the story didn't end there. Soon after, his ex-wife Patricia, the very woman he cheated with, was also arrested. Investigators say she lied to police and helped Frederick cover up the crime. She was charged with obstruction of justice and being an accessory after the fact. At this point, the case seemed like something out of a crime novel: infidelity, betrayal, a missing wife, a buried body, and a possible co-conspirator.
So our top story tonight, the sheriff's office believes they found the body of a missing Amherst woman.
Elsie Wiggington went missing in June, but recent breaks in the investigation finally brought home answers to the family and that community.
That's right. The Amherst County Sheriff held a press conference today to share the updates. WFXR's Rianne Lowndes joins us live from the Sheriff's Department.
Rianne, not only do they believe that they found Elsie's body after all this time, they also made an arrest in this case.
Yeah, that's right, guys. They took Elsie's husband, Frederick Wiggington, into custody today in Augusta County just a few hours ago, but only for concealment of a body. The sheriff saying, though, that they expect more charges to be pressed in this case very soon. 45-year-old Elsie Wiggington has been missing for over a year. Her family and friends reported her missing last June. Sheriff Ayers says a body was found at her home on Pendleton Drive around 8:30 this morning. It has been sent for DNA testing, but they do believe that they found Wiggington. They did not go into detail about where she was found on that property or why they returned to search the property a second time, but the sheriff did not hide his feelings about finding some form of resolution in this case.
It could be my family, it could be your family. But at the end of the day, she was a human being that didn't deserve what happened to her. That's why I'm upset.
Elsie Wiggington's husband is being held without bond, and Sheriff Ayers says this is an ongoing investigation, and her husband only taken into custody for concealment of a body, so no charges pressed yet in the death of Elsie Wiggington, but the sheriff assuring that more charges are coming soon.
The final piece of the puzzle came from inside the Halifax County Jail. Another inmate came forward and told authorities that Frederick had confessed to the murder while behind bars. That testimony sealed his fate. On May 2nd, 2025, a jury found Frederick Wiggington Jr. guilty of first-degree murder and guilty of using a firearm in the commission of a felony. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. But let's not forget who this story is really about. Elsie Wiggington was a real person. She wasn't just a headline. She was a nurse who cared for the elderly and sick. She was a mother who loved her kids, a grandmother who doted on her grandbabies. Her friends and co-workers say she had a big heart, always showed up for people, and was a light in her community. Her death didn't need to happen. She tried to get help. She warned people. She said the words no one ever wants to say, "He's going to kill me." And we as a society need to listen when someone says that. Too many women are ignored when they speak up about domestic abuse. Too many final texts go unanswered. Too many red flags are waved off until it's too late. So if there's one thing to take away from this story, it's this. When someone tells you they're afraid, believe them. When someone says they're in danger, don't wait, because silence isn't just dangerous. Silence can be deadly. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.